welcome to my channel, Plantiful. Good day, beautiful people. Thank you for choosing me today. Welcome to my channel, Plantiful Living by Miss Natty. I'm Miss Natty, and on this channel, we discuss veganism, plant-based living, and everything in between, all with a South African perspective. I'd like to say welcome back to my returning subscribers. I hope y'all are well. And for those who are joining us for the first time or discovering my videos for the first time, welcome to you too. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share, especially if you love this content. And yeah, because there is more to come. Okay, so today I wanted to tell you 5 things that I wish I knew before I went vegan. So remember, I went vegan in 2017, and if you're curious about my vegan story, I'll link the old video about why I went vegan and when I went vegan and my vegan journey. Well, actually, I don't know if I actually did a full video on that. Maybe I'll do a video. Oh, my introduction video. In my introduction video, I just talk about my veganism very briefly, but I should actually talk about my vegan journey, talk about my body changes. But there are a bunch of things that I wish I knew before I went vegan. So point number 1 is that veganism is more than just losing weight. Obviously, in the beginning, in my first video, I think I mentioned that I did the vegan thing in the beginning, even called it a vegan thing, because I wanted to lose weight. Now, that is obviously not a really good reason or legit reason for you to be to be going through veganism. Veganism is a journey, and it's a lifestyle. It's not just about what you eat, it's about what you do. It's about how you live your life. Obviously, it's not only through what we eat that animals suffer. They suffer for clothing, they suffer for medicine, they suffer for your skin products and your makeup, and this animal testing. And when you think about that greater picture, and then you think about the animal agriculture industry affects people's livelihoods in so many negative ways that it just becomes one of those things where you realize it's not just about you and your weight. You can gain weight on a vegan diet, you can lose weight on a vegan diet, you can have all types of bodily reactions on a vegan diet. It's not very singular, but I wish that was something I understood. Then I think I would have obviously gotten into it for better reasons, or I would have gone into the journey with like a greater understanding of the world. But I'm grateful for all my journey because I got to learn and I got to discover more and more about veganism and the world around me. Point number 2, vegan life is easy. Vegan social life is hard. Yo, guys. Being a vegan and having a social life, I think specifically in South Africa, it's very I'll try to like tell you what it's like, and it's not easy. And I think obviously I've got a perspective of someone who's in Pretoria. I'm not in Cape Town. I know Cape Town is a greater hub of vegan spaces and spots, and even Joburg is a greater hub, but Pretoria is hard, guys. For my whole journey, I studied here in Pretoria, and it was hard socializing, especially university socializing. Obviously, that's when I started the same year I went to university, but started before I went, but it was the same year. So I'm thinking about like my first year, like random awkward moments would happen all the time. My friend would invite me over, and we're at her dorm space or her room, right? Or in her res in Hatfield, and then she'd be like, oh, let's go meet, like we're gonna meet some friends and stuff. And obviously these are her neighbors and stuff, and obviously this was pre-COVID, and then you're just talking to people, you're having a conversation, and then your friend decides to point you out, oh, she's vegan, and you're like like, and it's not like I'm embarrassed about me being vegan. I'm obviously proud, but it's like it wasn't part of the conversation. It wasn't part of topic. Like it wasn't. It wasn't at all. Like, my parents have done it at a restaurant where they'll be like, oh no, she's vegan, to the waiter. And for me, it's not that I don't want people to know. I just feel like other people are so quick to say it for you. I know a lot of people say that vegans always announce themselves, but they announce themselves so that they can feel protected. I didn't say anything. I did not say anything, and I would be pointed out. Yo, family gatherings, it'll always be a topic on people's mind, especially in the beginning. Now they don't care. You can tell that no one really cares. But then, like, before, like, it was always a topic. But Nati, why are you doing this? How are you doing this? No. Now, the worst part is when another problematic vegan somewhere in the world, obviously through social media, does something, and now they want to question you because you're the closest vegan to them, and you're just like, I did not do that. I don't know. Sometimes I wouldn't even know what was going on, and all of a sudden you are the problematic vegan spokesperson. You are the spokesperson for all vegans all around the world. You have to answer all these questions, and imagine you're also like a baby vegan yourself. You're discovering more things, you're learning, and everyone wants to fight you. Like, traumatic times. But I mean, I think I learned, like, as to go along, when I want to speak about it, I'll speak about it. I never really saw my silence as against the movement, because my silence was also just a time for me to understand what I am doing so I can do it correctly. Imagine I was also just copying other people and becoming a problematic person, not truly understanding veganism for what it is. We would all be fighting forever. But then, like, yeah, even Twitter. Oh, guys, I don't even think I can go into Twitter. But then Twitter is one of those things I'm like, I'm not gonna even argue on Twitter. Like, I just see, I'm like, oh yeah, people are fighting over vegetables again. Yeah, they say we live in people's minds rent-free, but it's really awkward. It was really awkward in the beginning. Now I'm just kind of, I'm okay with awkward spaces. So I'll just be, we can be awkward together. But yeah, the social life was definitely the hardest. I think also just not being able to always eat with people. Like, if my friends want to go to this event and there's no guarantee of a vegan meal, I would rather skip the event, because now, especially if eating is a part of the experience, it gets really hard to just be there and eat chips or whatever. Like it gets really hard and really uncomfortable. So before you guys already try to attack your vegan friends or scrutinize them, I must understand that the whole social life is very hard. This is a very hard thing to navigate through, especially in the beginning. I understand when people, like, if they cannot, because remember, eating is also a social experience for everyone. So imagine you start stripping those things away for people. It makes the whole journey uncomfortable for no reason. You want to get a question out, but you're already making the eating experience, something that everyone has to do, a very uncomfortable one. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, I think it's like one of those things where you just don't talk about it that much, or at least don't talk about it then. We can always have the conversations. It can always be fruitful, not like a spicy debate. The third thing that I thought I wish I knew before I went vegan, number 3, is not all vegans are good people. Now, obviously, this came to, like, my enlightenment, especially through my social settings, because people would always be pointing out vegans that are doing wrong. But then you actually have to look at what those vegans are doing and see if what they're doing is correct. You get what I'm saying? So when you start looking at, and I can't mention them because apparently they have taken legal action, and I don't want to play, like, I'm not trying to defame them, but like, or do the defamation of their character, but their characters are not good anyway, so I don't understand. So you would have vegans, very famous ones, and these are the vegans who are actually the face of vegan. These are the people who are a spokesperson, not our spokespersons, but like, who speak on veganism like it's their livelihood, right? And they'll be doing some dodgy things. Like, there was one vegan recently in the pandemic who was going out on holiday and just having a swell time during the pandemic, during this panorama. And you're like, where do you get the funds for that? Because as far as everyone else understands, people donate to you or to your organization with you and your girlfriend. And now all of a sudden, you and your girlfriend are out and about, having a jolly good time around the world. But as people understood, they were donating to you and your girlfriend or your guys' organization, so they can donate to animal welfare organizations, right? Or sanctuaries and stuff. And apparently these sanctuaries are closing down. There's no money. Obviously during a pandemic, it became very difficult. But how come it's difficult for them, but not difficult for you who are supposed to be, relaying that money? So, you just started to pick up those dodgy things and also the things people would say. And this is where you get to understand the ideas of white veganism, or it's a very like narrow perspective. And but not just narrow, but also very problematic because, yo, we can go into it, but like very problematic in the sense that they really are disrespectful to the rest of the people that exist in the vegan community. For example, there are vegans on social media who are constantly comparing the treatment of animals to the Holocaust. Now, that is very offensive to people who are part of the Jewish community, for example, right? Because of obviously the history. They would say, hey, can you not say that? Because it's kind of offensive. And they would disregard that of the fact that it's offensive to other people. Or they would do the same with animal treatments and slavery. And you're like, and then Black people are like, but please don't say that. Like, please don't say that. And I think one of the things that like cringed the most was this other lady. It was circulating, especially in the beginning of the pandemic and lockdown, during the unrest in the US, and obviously the Black Lives Matter movement was rising. And this lady, she started comparing the Black Lives Matter movement to the vegan movement, but not in a way that actually made sense. It just kind of denounced Black people to animals. Like, and when you feel like that, especially when Black people were treated like animals, it's like, but what are you doing? Because if you were true about this, or if you were true about your word, you wouldn't be saying things to offend us. You get what I'm saying? So it became very uncomfortable. But yes, there are those people that exist, and I think that is, you have to be very conscious when you are obviously going through your vegan journey, and understanding that you can't just follow anyone. I always recommend following Black vegans, indigenous vegans, and other persons of color vegans, because obviously they can speak from a perspective that is not a blanket perspective, but obviously speaking from their spatial perspective, like their context. Like, I speak from a South African context. A lot of people I know speak from South African context, and then obviously from a European context, and understand those contexts from their culture, race, and how they move through the world, rather than other vegans who do not recognize that. So I think it's very important who you follow and who you gain information from, because you do not want to find yourself just representing a negative view, basically. The fourth thing that I wish I knew when I went vegan is that I wish I understood that you can't really transition overnight. Now, I know that can contradict some people who's like, I was overnight, I was done. But I don't think you really can in SA. No, I don't think you can, unless you're really eating a very plant-based diet in the beginning. I think you can work towards it, if that makes sense, and then make the change. But it's never an overnight thing. I doubt, especially in an SA spatial context, where you could watch whatever documentary or film that will move you, and now all of a sudden you can just open up your fridge, take out all the meat and all the dairy, and what you're left with and what you understand about food and cooking, like, you're good. Like, I didn't. I remember I did, but like, it wasn't good. Like, I wasn't eating properly. I was skipping meals because I didn't know what to do. And I think obviously that is obviously a specific me problem, but I think the way I eat and the way we understand food is that it's not, specifically food, it's not as easy and cutthroat. There's so many things laced with vegan ingredients, and it takes time to understand that. And I think the easiest way and the best way to transition, especially in SA, is to take an approach. Obviously, yes, you can remove all the animal products, the immediate ones you see, and then you'll understand where they could be lurking, and then you'll be able to remove those. And then obviously you can move deeper and deeper within your lifestyle. That is the most practical way. But the transition overnight, ooh, child, you're lying to yourself. Because nothing is ever like, Nothing is ever, it's never like, and it's not straightforward. Like, I don't know how many chips I see, like salt and pepper chips, guys, and they have milk solids. I'm so mad. Like, what do you mean? In the beginning, as you're going along, there's things that you're like, I didn't understand. You wouldn't understand. And you have to take those precautions and measures. And again, not everything is easily accessible in South Africa, especially if you think about all of South Africa. Obviously, if you're in Cape Town, or if you're in a city, let me say that. If you're in a city, it's easier. But imagine you're not in a city, like it doesn't really, it's not something that really happens overnight. And as much as I say I did it overnight, I do recognize that I really didn't, because there was still so many things that had to change. The fifth thing I wish I knew before I went vegan was that you really need to learn how, need to learn. Whew, the fifth thing, you need to learn how to recook. Or I had to learn how to recook. Guys, the way I understood food from young, from cooking, and I used to cook, guys. Like, I used to cook, I used to make food. But I think the way we learn how to eat and make food or prepare food is always meat centered, or at least I learned a meat centered way. And it's very interesting because I have to learn how to enjoy my food without meat being the center. Now, I've not always had this deep attachment to meat, but I think just understanding food and cooking and all the possibilities need to be learned, because I was not taught that. Unless you were taught that. Me, I wasn't taught that. My mom knows how to cook, but she's great with cooking. So yeah, you have to learn how to recook. You have to learn how to do this. You have to learn how to do that. And I wish I knew that was something I was gonna have to go through, because in the beginning I was lazy. Like, I was like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I was like, I didn't know what I was doing. I just I did not know. But now I'm grateful, because I've learned, okay, how to play with flavor, how to play with food. And now I think I'm getting there. I'm still intimidated by cooking certain things like tofu. Tofu has been staring at me in the pantry. I love eating tofu, but to learn, I know you have to like press the water out, but sometimes people don't press the water out. So I'm like, but what constitutes the pressing of the water? And then nothing, everyone's like, but you press extra and then it's not pressing extra firm tofu. And I'm like, nothing's making sense. Okay, beautiful people, thank you for joining me today. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share with your loved ones, especially if you liked this video. Please check my other videos. There are more videos that are to come. And yeah, if you guys want to engage and talk to me or ask me a question, please head to plantiful.za on Instagram. Slide into the DMs. I can answer questions there. My personal page, don't slide into the DMs. I ignore them there, because yeah. But if you have any questions, I do encourage you to ask them. Yeah, and if you want a specific video made and you have a suggestion, please talk to me. Tell me. Let's engage. Let's go further together. Yeah, and I hope you did enjoy this video. I enjoyed making it. I was giggling in between. I was giggling a lot, because I'm just thinking about my journey. It's been a wild one, but yeah, I'd love to share more with you guys. Yeah, so please hit that notification button, because there is more to come.